Thank you, Alas Corran. I wish to thank the Corran staff for affording me the opportunity to raise this particular issue, which is of importance, obviously, to the people of North Kildare, to wit, the urgent need for the augmentation of the Garda strength throughout North Kildare, for the constituency which I speak, which consists of 4 large towns with either coming to or in excess of 20,000 population, Naas, Selbridge, Leixlip, Maynooth, and with a number of other towns growing rapidly in an effort to accommodate the need for housing. And along with that comes the necessity to augment the Garda strength in all of the towns concerned for a whole lot of reasons. One, the proposed new regime in terms of policing, which is the subject of some discussion, and I think we should welcome it for the simple reason that it proposes deployments of a modern nature in terms of policing, and I think that's something that is to be welcomed. There's also another reason I think we must accept the fact that as the population grows, the extent to which petty crime can increase and some more serious crime can increase, as we know from other areas throughout the country. And recognising that, we had in the past number of years had to suffer reduction in Garda strength throughout County Kildare, and this was like every other part of the country. We could do nothing about it. We had to accept what was being applied everywhere else, and we did that. But the population in County Kildare in general has grown much more rapidly than most other places throughout the country at the present time, and in view of that, I think it's now important that to prioritise the extent to which the Garda strength can be augmented. I should mention that, of course, I live in Maynooth, which is a university town, brings in another 17,000 people during the school year. And that's not suggesting for one moment that they're unruly or that they need extra policing. The fact of the matter is this: there are extra people in the area, extra population, along with the existing population. And there's the need for a greater degree of security in order to protect that increasing population. And I don't to labour the subject other than to say this: I believe that it is an urgent matter. I hope that the Minister for State, who is here, I'm glad to welcome him here, to address this issue, and in the hope that he can address the issue in the short term.
Minister Stanton.
Thank you, Alaska Corla. And on the outset, on behalf of Minister Flanagan, who sends his apologies, I would like to thank the Deputy for raising this important matter here today. And first of all, I would like to remind the House, Alaska Corla, that by law, the deployment of Garda resources is solely, and I repeat, solely the responsibility of the Garda Commissioner and his management team. The Minister is assured, however, that the distribution of Garda resources is constantly monitored, taking into account all relevant factors, including population, as the Deputy has outlined, and new and emerging crime trends. The Minister wishes to emphasise that working with communities to tackle public disorder and reduce antisocial behaviour remains a key priority for Gardaí. The Commissioner has publicly spoken about the protection of the most vulnerable, and he has highlighted that his priority is a policing model that will provide the best outcomes for communities. This approach includes a strong focus on quality of life issues and collaboration with local authorities to help address the causes of antisocial behaviour. The Deputy obviously mentioned Kildare. The Minister is informed by the Garda authorities that, as of the 31st of August 2019, there were 393 Gardaí assigned to the Kildare Division. This represents a 9.2% increase on Garda resources allocated to the Kildare Division since the end of 2017. There are also 17 Garda reserves and 35 Garda civilian staff attached to the Kildare Division as from the 31st of August last. And on Garda Síochána is a growing organisation. Since the reopening of the Garda College in 2014, approximately 2,800 new Gardaí have attested and been assigned to mainstream policing duties around the country. Of these, 118 have been assigned to the Kildare Division. 200 more Gardaí are due to attest before the end of the year. At the same time, record levels of recruitment of Garda staff is allowing for the redeployment of Gardaí to operational policing duties. As a result, there are now over 14,200 Gardaí nationwide, supported by over 2,600 staff. This level of accelerated recruitment ensures that the Government's plan to achieve an overall Garda workforce of 21,000 personnel by 2021, including 15,000 Gardaí, remains on track. Additional recruitment of Garda staff will allow the Commissioner to redeploy a further 500 fully trained Gardaí from administrative duties to frontline policing in 2019. The Minister is of the view that the injection of this large number of experienced officers into the field, along with the new recruits, will provide the Commissioner with the resources needed to deploy increasing numbers of Gardaí to deliver a visible, effective and responsive policing service to communities across all Garda divisions, including the Kildare division. The ongoing process of Garda reform will also assist through efficiencies in a range of areas, including ongoing civilisation, examination of non-core duties and reform of Garda structures. In practical terms, this will mean less duplication and bureaucracy at senior levels, more Gardaí on the ground and chief superintendents with greater decision-making power in their divisions. It will also include a strengthened focus on community engagement. These positive developments are underpinned by unprecedented government investment in Garda Síochána, amounting to a budget of €1.76 billion for 2019, as well as €92 million capital investment this year. The Deputy may also wish to be aware that a total of €10 million has been made available for the purchase and fit-out of Garda vehicles in 2019. The Minister has been informed by the Garda authorities that this allocation will be used for purchase and fit-out of over 300 new vehicles for operational use this year. As of the 30th of August, there were a total of 56 vehicles allocated to Kildare, the division on which the Deputy inquired specifically. And the Minister hopes that this information is of reassurance to the Deputy. Thank you.
2 minutes, Deputy Durkan.
I wish to thank the Minister for State for the positive nature of his reply, and the Minister, his colleague the Minister as well. I think that one of the areas that need to be emphasised is the need for juvenile liaison officers. Given that we have a huge young population, and that we have that young population is not going away, you know, they're young for quite a while, and there's a necessity, I think, to introduce all the aids that we can to assist the Garda in interacting with the young people who might be at risk of falling into a way of crime, even though it be petty crime. There's also the question of the community policing, and there have been some additions in recent times, and I would welcome that to North Kildare. However, there is a need for more community policing, and the community police person is needed in every town and village, and there needs to be continuity. I think there's also a need for special emphasis to be placed on areas where there have come reports, maybe repeated reports in some cases, from some communities, because people living in some estates complain to us from time to time about antisocial activity, which is petty in nature, but hugely worrying for the people who live there. And while the crime is not serious, it still is a means of showing disrespect for other people, disrespect for other people's property, disrespect for older people in many cases, and also the fact that we need to reassure the general public that, you know, we are on their side. The establishments are on their side. The Garda are on their side, and the Garda are ready, willing and able, and have sufficient numbers and sufficient resources to attend to their queries and as they arise. And I won't say any more than that, last caller, other than we hope that it will be possible to augment the numbers in the way that I've suggested as we progress.
Thanks very much. Again, I want to thank the Deputy on behalf of the Minister for raising this very important matter in the House today. And I've told the House previously last Concordia that I'm responsible for National Youth Justice, and I'm developing a new National Youth Justice strategy, as the Deputy has outlined the importance of juvenile justice here. And we've pulled together an advisory group to do some work on that, and that is doing some very interesting work at the moment and looking at different approaches and initiatives in this area. At the heart of the concerns expressed today last Concord is the relationship between communities and their local Gardaí, and the Garda resources required in each division to provide an effective policing service. Clearly, obviously as well, Garda visibility is very important, and this government remains committed to ensuring a strong and visible police presence throughout the country in order to maintain and strengthen community engagement, provide reassurance to citizens and to deter crime. Last month, the Minister welcomed the Garda Commissioner's announcement of the new operating model from Garda Síochána, long recommended by independent policing specialists, including the Garda Inspectorate and the Commission on the Future of Policing in Ireland. The new model will bring very significant improvements around Garda Síochána structures, processes and services. It will mean less duplication and bureaucracy at senior levels, and chief superintendents will be given more decision-making powers in their own divisions. The shifting of power and decision-making from Garda headquarters to chief superintendents will bring chiefs closer to the communities they serve, ensuring a more localised and responsive police service reflecting local needs. It will increase the number of frontline Gardaí and maximise the organisation's operational impact at the local level to deliver an improved, more consistent, highly visible policing service in communities. This delivers on some of the key recommendations of the Commission on the Future of Policing, namely that Gardaí should be visible on the front line and engaged in community policing, as the Deputy has suggested. The changes come at a time of record investments, as said earlier, on Garda Síochána. €1.6 billion has been allocated to Garda vote for 2019, as well as capital investment amounting to €92 million this year. And Garda Síochána is benefiting from enormous budgets. The purpose of this model is to ensure that the best services are provided to communities on the ground. The substantial investment will allow the accelerated recruitment programme to continue in tandem with the deployment of new and leading-edge technology to support our frontline Gardaí in carrying out their work of delivering a visible, effective and responsive police service to communities across all Garda divisions, including the very important Kildare division in 2019 and future years. Thank you,